All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery. This is the Honorable Louis Shea. I always try to say squeegee. Louis Shea Montgomery. So welcome into the show, Mr. Lewis. How are you today? Good. So Lou's going to hang out for just a second, and you'd be okay hanging for 1 second, right? While we get this going. And you're going to have to speak up just a little bit, Lou, right into the mic when you've got things to say. But so welcome to Small Business Saturdays. Again, my name's Aaron Montgomery. This is Louis Montgomery. And today we are going to talk about keys to a good email campaign. And so today, the excitement for me today here with you guys is I've got a few keys. I've got a couple things that I want to share. But at the end of the day, 1 second for me, buddy. At the end of all this, really, I wanted to just kind of open this up, give you guys an opportunity to ask me any questions that you have about email campaigns, ask specifics, whatever that you need and whatever you'd like to get out of this. This is what today is all about. So I'm really excited about that. Apologize for the time change. Last night didn't go as planned, and 7 a.m. was just not going to happen. We had volleyball this morning. How was volleyball this morning, Louis? Good? Just good? What did you do today?
Serving, passing, and setting.
All right, so nice and clear into the mic there, buddy. All right, so Louis, can you start me off with a question about keys to a good email campaign? Do you have a question about that yourself?
Campaign.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
What is an email campaign?
What is an email campaign? All right, well, that's a great place to start. Thank you, sir. Do you have any other questions beyond that? Are you ready to go back to Roblox?
Yeah.
All right, high five. Thank you. Good job. Thanks, buddy. Love you. All right, so what is an email campaign? And that's a great place to start. So an email campaign is marketing through email is basically the way I would boil it down. An email campaign is one of those things where we're sending it out to a targeted group of people, and we are trying to get a response to whatever our call to action is. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. So an email campaign, like I said, that's what it's all about. It's either you're gathering information, you're sharing information, you're building your brand, or you're asking for a sale. So some of the most common email campaigns out there is, somebody signed up for a coupon codes when a special comes out and the sale announcements. Another thing that people would sign up for email campaigns for are if they want to get more information about what your niche is. So maybe it's pets or sports or whatever the case may be. So that's what an email campaign is. There's several different ways to kind of go about it. As far as how you do it, you've got to build up a list first. And so email is definitely one of those organically building things. But if you're focused on it, you make it part of your marketing plan, you can build it and grow it over time. So I've been in situations where, we've grown lists to over 30, 40,000 people on it. Now, in hindsight, back then, we were just blowing it out, sending a whole bunch of stuff. But in reality, you probably want to keep your list smaller and keep it narrowed down into a more focused thing. So here we go. So Wade says, definitely need this, never have done, but want to this year, just need help. Absolutely. So Wade, boom, high five. I'd love to. I love email as a medium, as far as just for sharing information, but I also love it as a marketing tool. I think if done right, so email gets a bad name. So one thing that I always do, especially when I'm teaching a seminar on something like this, is I always ask, what's the one word that comes to mind when you think of an email campaign? And I know this is a little bit delayed here, so I'll give you guys a couple moments here to give me your answers to what you think before I blurt it out. But that's where you start. What to you is an email campaign, and then how do we get that thinking in the right way? So Tanya, hello. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Again, apologize for the time change. If you guys are all planned to go crack of super early this morning, I for whatever reason had some things that I was working on, some frustrations that came about from things that I was working on that I couldn't figure out. I don't do well when I can't figure something out. So I tend to want to try to power through it when I should have probably just gone to bed and tried again. But I was up until about 3 o'clock last night. So we had to get up to go to volleyball. That we had to leave the house by about 7:45 for that. So I took the 1 extra hour of sleep that I could get and ran with it. So thanks, guys. All right. Jessica, hi. Thank you so much for joining me. And Sharon says, hi, I'll be in and out working the day job, but I so need to do this. Collected some emails from my shows and now need to do one. Absolutely. So that is it. Perfect. Man, I love it. I love this working out. I love that I can help out. So again, you guys tell me what you think of. What's the first word that comes to your mind when somebody says the word email campaign or email marketing to you? And Tanya says it worked out better this way for me, or I would have caught the replay. So perfect. I love that you're here live, Tanya. So hey, that's what a lot of our businesses are about. I know that's a lot of what it's about for me is getting feedback and finding out. I'm not married to the 7 a.m. time slot. I'm definitely not a morning person myself. But Heidi says that UGG comes to mind when you think of email marketing. Terry, hello. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Sharon, stress. Okay. So when you're on the receiving end of email marketing, what's the common word that a lot of people associate with emails? And I'm going to blurt it out here in a second. I know you guys are thinking it. I'm just not asking it the right way. But so let's get to that. Let's see what else I missed. So we're gonna talk about that today. Junk mail. They won't read it or open it. Jessica says that's perfect. I love that one. That's definitely true. And Sharon's got a good question. We're gonna get to all these questions, and I'll get back to that one in just a second. Yeah. So I've always, because it makes for a great visual, and I don't have it here, and I should have gotten ahead of the game here a bit and done it, but there, Wade, boom, we've got it. Spam, Sharon, spam. All right, now, sorry it took so long to get to that. So spam is what most people think, and this is the trick. This is what we have to change our mindset about it. That we want to be sending emails that people want to get. Yeah. All right. So our job as email marketers is not to go out and just load up as many emails into our email system as we can and just blast out emails as often as possible. All right. So our job as email marketers is to go and get people that want to get your emails that aren't going to hit the spam button. So, for example, on email campaigns that I do, at least the ones that are kind of more of a newsletter blast kind of situation, I actually put a big button right up at the top. I mean, easy as can be to see and make it very clear. The unsubscribe button is right up there. I don't make them go down and find the fine print and whatnot. I want to put that unsubscribe button right at the top and make it super easy for them to get off of my email list. Because here's what happens if I hide it down on the bottom, or I make it so it's really difficult for them to get off of the email list, then here's exactly what happens. I know exactly where that spam button is up at the top of my emails, and I just use that one first. So that's what we're trying to avoid. We want to avoid being spam. We want to send people emails that they want to get. So that means that we've got to craft our emails around the thought process of what's in it for the people receiving the email. Am I giving enough value that they're going to take the time out of their day to open it and read it? Am I making it easy enough for them to take the action that I want to take? So these are all the key points. I'm going to break that down just a hair more, but let me get back to a couple questions here. So Sharon asks, which provider do you use? And that's a great question, because first, let me start even a step back from what provider do I use to saying, please use a provider. Now, that doesn't have to be one of the standalone ones that I'll bring up here: Mailchimp, Aweber, Constant Contacts, I think Topica. I'm not sure if they're even still around. There's lots of these standalone email marketing platforms that are becoming more all-in-one marketing platforms. You get HubSpot and other things like that. So to answer your question, Sharon, the one that I use is Mailchimp. And the reason why I use Mailchimp is it's probably the most used one right now, which means that they're doing something right. B, the price point is fantastic because for less than 2,000 people on your email list, you get it for free. Now, they have paid features that make things worthwhile, so I wouldn't hesitate to pay for it. But at the end of the day, to be able to plug in up to 2,000 names and have a lot of great tools and functionality in front of you to send out emails, Mailchimp's a great way to go. Now, so that's what I use. The other ones that I mentioned are good. Now, you can get into things like I also use a service called Gmass. It's Gmass. And that actually works inside of Gmail to where I can basically put everybody in the to field and then hit the Gmass button, and it sends them an individual email directly from me. And that works well. Like, for example, with our success group, I use that because we've got about 70 people right there that I want to get information to. And so it's not a traditional email blast in a hey, I'm sending you a sale, but here's information about the video, here's information about what we're doing next, here's so I want to get those emails out. So there's several different ways, but I would first and foremost recommend that you use some sort of a service. Like I said, I love Mailchimp because it's easy, free, and there. The other ones are great too. I've used Constant Contacts. I really like it. Active Campaign would be another one. There's one other that I'm forgetting off the top of my head here, but yeah. So I think for the most part, as long as you pick one that you like and speaks to you, I don't think you're really going to go wrong with any of them. Try to get in and understand. Constant Contacts, for example, they're really super hardcore about making sure that your list is good and clean and is not spam. And so, if you've got a lot of names on your list that are like info at or sales at kind of emails, they might kick a lot of those emails out and you won't be able to send to them. So maybe that's not the right fit for you. But if you're really, got a nice, good, clean list, and not clean as in not dupes and stuff like that. All these softwares actually take care of removing the duplicates and managing that for you. But clean as in, these are good emails that are going to get through and are not going to be marked as spam. I think Constant Contacts is a great tool because they do work so hard to make sure that your emails do get into the inbox and not into the spam box, because I've been using some of these other things and kind of a little more willy-nilly, so to speak. I know that my emails are making their way into more spam folders than they should be because somebody's hit spam, but then somebody that did want to get my email isn't getting it because it got associated with spam. So again, being focused on making sure that people, A, know what they're going to get, B, know when they're going to get it, and C, make it easy for them to get off of your email list if for some reason things change for them. All right. So I don't know if you guys caught this at the very beginning, but what I said at the beginning is my whole goal for today is just to completely open this thing up for questions. I've given you some pieces right now that I think are keys. And at the very end, I'll wrap it up with what I think the just kind of a review of the keys. And I think I'll probably hit all of them, but let me know what questions you guys have. And Sharon says, worried about losing them if I don't have it perfect. That is a common fear. I have that too. And so I really kind of maybe spend a little too much time from time to time getting it right. But here's the best trick for that, Sharon, to get over that particular thing is if you can feel confident that you're writing and sharing the information from the perspective of the person receiving it. So you're thinking about what do they want? And I'm not saying overthink it. I'm just saying, think about it. If you have that in mind and you say, okay, here's what I'm going to share. What do they get out of that? Well, they get 25% off, or they get to vote on the latest design, or they get to learn about something that is important to them. Whatever it is that is the value for the person receiving the email. And I would say, as long as you've kept that in mind, and it wasn't, what's in this for me? Am I going to make sales? Am I going to, if you keep that part in mind, I think that you're going to be 90, maybe I would say 100% there. If you lose some, you lose some. I used to really, like I said, I hated it when people would unsubscribe. But two things changed for me. A, I knew that if they were unsubscribing, that meant that I wasn't going in the spam folder. B, if they're unsubscribing and I'm using Mailchimp where I only have 2,000 names on my list, that makes room for somebody that wants to get my email. So those were the two things that really helped me change my thinking on that. Like I said, I would take it personally. I'd have to go have a beer afterwards after I sent an email campaign and I had more unsubscribes than normal. I mean, it literally affected my mood, which was, hey, we all do that. It's okay. It's natural. But if you flip it and you think about it from the broader perspective, you're getting an opportunity to reach people that do want to hear from you or are ready for that, and if you can create enough of a buzz around what you're doing with that and the information that you're sharing and whatnot, they're going to have FOMO and they'll be back anyways. So there we go. So what questions you guys have, bring it. I mean, if this is going to be quick and easy, no problem. But if you guys have specific questions, if it's stressing you out, if it's or Wade, if you're, what's holding you guys up? What's the problem that you're having with email marketing right now? So I'll give you guys a second to talk about that. I will, like I said, I'm going to re-review these once I finally close, but we already talked about the number one key in my mind to a good email campaign is staying out of the spam filters. And the way to do that is by sending emails that they want to get and giving them a easy way to unsubscribe. The second key and the second part that I key to all of this that I haven't talked about yet, but a way that you make this successful for you. So I said, we've thought about what the user wants to hear, what value they get out of it. But at the end of it, though, now you've said, okay, here's the value you get. In exchange for that value, I'd like you to do this. And that could be as simple as hit this button to buy now because you got the 25% off, or it could be, click on this link to find out more. Because what happens when you're using a software like Mailchimp or whatnot, and even Gmass and some of those things, what happens is when they click on that link, that software keeps track of that. And then you can go back and look at that and say, okay, cool. So I talked about mugs and I talked about shirts and I talked about this latest tumbler that I'm working on. And of those three things, this person clicked on tumblers, this person clicked on mugs, this person clicked on shirts, or these groups of people clicked on those things. Well, now you've got a more targeted list. So now you can tag that person that was interested in mugs for future, or you could even do a follow-up and say, hey, thanks for checking out the mugs. Here you go. You can tag that person and get them into your retargeting campaigns, which we'll talk about it at a later time. And so anyhow, there's a lot of value still in it for them just clicking the link. So what is your call to action? What is it that you want? So that's two. And I'll get to the third one here in a second, because I see a couple of comments and potentially questions here. Yep. Yeah. This is a great point, Tanya. I love this one. There are times when people unsubscribe because of overwhelm in their own part. I try to think of that. I have unsubscribed from a lot lately. Yeah. And when you're going through something like Tanya's gone through, I don't need 100 emails in my email box. So the ones that don't really stand out to me, I'm going to unsubscribe. I do that all the time, because more often than not, people are sending you emails because you've just gone and expressed interest in their product. And that's fine. But But the real rubber, the real conversion opportunities are when somebody's signed up for that and then they want to get that, so like for me, like I get all the Jack Canfield emails and I read all of those because he's providing me value and I want to get the wisdom. But somebody that, wants to send me, Logitech wants to send me their latest mouse deal, I don't care about that. I unsubscribe. In fact, one thing that really, and I still go there, so maybe it's not that bad, but Red Robin. So I'm signed up for their rewards deal. And but they were sending me an email every day, and it was just, I'm like, I don't, we go there, once a month or something, and I don't need to get a Red Robin email every day. And so I went to unsubscribe, and they said, well, if you unsubscribe, you're no longer part of our rewards club. I'm like, well, why? Just because I don't want to get your emails? Anyhow, I won't go on the rant, but again, it's that kind of thinking. Like, are you providing value to your readers? Will said, yeah, I welcome unsubscribes, and Will sends great information about things that can help you. So I love getting Will's emails. For whatever reason, I saw one in the spam folder like a couple weeks ago. I try to go and look through those once a week or so and just make sure nothing that I really wanted to get ends up in there. And I saw one of his in there. I was like, oh no, whitelist, what the heck? I want to make sure that I get those emails. So that's the kind of thinking that you want to get. What value you're providing to your reader. Jessica asks, how often do you send them out? And there's lots of different thought processes on this and I've tried to kind of narrow this down, talking to people that do it a lot. And I've done lots of different testing. And what I've discovered is the most important part isn't how often you send them out. The most important part is, what is your reader's expectation of how often they are going to get them? So for my own personal email list, I've kind of screwed it up right now because I told people that they were going to be getting a monthly email, and I just have not had time to keep up with it. It hasn't reached the top of my list. And that's bad on me. So I've basically told my readers that I'm not able to provide them enough value, and so they should unsubscribe. Now, please don't if you're on there. I promise I will try to get back to that. But what I'm saying is the more important question is not how often you should send them out. The more important question is, how often do they expect to receive them? So if somebody signed up for a monthly email newsletter, then make sure that you're sending that monthly, and don't, all of a sudden just decide to start sending them weekly without letting them know. And on the flip side of that, if they're supposed to get a daily coupon and you're only sending it out once a week, then that's also going to get people to unsubscribe or put you into spam. So, I don't think that, sending a daily email is a bad thing. It just has to be something that you can do and that you're able to provide enough value each day. And that the value could exactly be just, this is my product that's on sale today, and quick, easy, that's an easy thing to put together. People love getting that, love feeling like I'm getting a deal, and make it an insider's club and you get a daily deal, and you're going to see that daily deal that goes out will move the needle, especially for your e-commerce stuff. So that hopefully I answered your question there, Jessica. Getting the first one sent and knowing how to actually do it when you have not done it before. Okay. So Sharon, I don't want you to overthink this here. So if you've got an email list, you've got people on the email list, and you have some realistic they have some realistic expectation of what it is that they're going to get. And if they don't, then the first email should just be to clarify that, to just be, hey, thanks for being on my email list. Maybe you're asking them, fill out this survey and tell me what you would like to hear more about. Do you want specials? Do you want news? Do you want this? What would make you want to open this email every time you got it, kind of thing. So that could be the first place to start. But the thing to do is take those emails that you've accumulated, that you feel like are ready to get those, put them into a program like Mailchimp, and just go over to Mailchimp.com and sign up for a free account, and you add them as an audience, and then you create a campaign. It walks you through it. You write some, get it out there. And and then send that email, and then send it regularly, and you're going to see, and you're going to be able to see the analytics of how many people are opening it. The open rates don't worry so much about, but look at how many people are actually interacting with it. So clicking on a link, that kind of thing is more valuable than how many people have opened it, because different softwares that people read emails with do different things. So an open rate is not an actual true rate. I may have not even read or opened it. It just, my email software made the images viewable. And that's the only way that they can track open rates, as far as I know. So so I'm kind of going off on a tangent there. But Sharon, I think that the most important thing to do is just to go ahead and do it, and then be consistent with it. Make it part of your plan, and speaking of that, I know I owe you something there, Sharon. So that's on the list for today. All right. So Wade, same here. So same deal. Just if you've got emails that you're ready to send out, then let's do it. Trying to think what be the best way to really kind of, I don't know, maybe what I'll try to do is in a soon future version of this or something like that. And I certainly see a more in-depth, really kind of walking through step-by-step part happening in our success group with this. I know this is on the list, but I'm going to make sure that it's really on the list, beyond just giving in that, not lip service, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to write while I'm talking. Crazy, huh? Okay. So, but what specific questions do you have beyond that? Okay. So now you've got it. Just put the emails in there, build an email. All building an email means is writing it out. Maybe it's adding some pictures, adding some links, understanding what your calls to action are. And again, I'll go through what my important points are. And there we go. And yep, Todd, there you go. This would be a great class for OSG training, and a very in-depth, detailed walkthrough step-by-step. And we'll do a Mailchimp, and just that way we're focused on one thing, and then we can try another one if everybody else is using something else or something like that. So, all right. And then Todd says, I don't think they'll complain if you send too little. Agreed. Typically, less is more. But again, if they're expecting to get a deal every day, and then all of a sudden that is only coming every so often, that it's like, they don't care enough about me. I was excited about getting that deal every day. So just make it consistent is my best advice, and my best advice for you, and piece of advice that I need to work on following a little bit more. All right. So what other specific questions do you guys have? Otherwise, I'll kind of wrap this up a little bit, and we'll get back to it. Thank you guys so much for the good questions and the good interaction here. So I will wait for that. But in the meantime, okay, so we talked about call to action. We talked about staying out of the spam box. And the third key is consistency, which we have also talked about. So with those three things, you're going to have your best opportunity for success with email marketing. Now, unlike social media posting, email marketing, it's okay to do a little bit of selling. People expect to, be told about the latest and greatest, but still think about what their emotional connection to that would be. They don't care about how many colors of glitter you used or how many hours it took you to make it or anything like that. Not that they don't care like they're jerks. It's just that doesn't move the needle for them. What they do care about is how it makes them feel, how awesome it looks, and how, if it's a gift that they're giving, what that's going to do for them. People are going to love it because it's personalized. Make those emotional connections as you're talking about things, and then you can kind of go from there. Now, real quick, back to the calls to action, because I think that is an area that is important to focus on before you start writing the email, before you start kind of crafting the words that go into this email. Make sure that you first have clearly decided what the single call to action for that is going to be. So again, do you want them to click on a link? Do you want them to go to your store and buy? Do you want them to come to your place to meet you? Do you want them to go to a form to fill out a quote? What is the action that you would like them to take if they connect with your email? Or let me better phrase that. When they connect with your email, what is that action that you want them to take? So decide that first. And then here's how I like to do it. I like to divide my email up into 3 parts. The top of it is just boom, here's what I'm bringing to you, quick, just the basic, like, new product, 25% off, just real quick. Because what that does is that gets the people that are seeing them in that preview line and all that other stuff, that just, you're getting their attention. And you are going to have people that are the early adopter type people that want to basically go, okay, cool, I'm in, 25% off. That looks awesome. Buy now, done. So I have that at the top. Then there's the people that need a little bit more, need a little bit more convincing, need a little bit more information. And for those people, that next section of my email has got some bullet points, some kind of key pieces. Now, and this is typically around a sales email, but even a newsletter kind of thing, you can have some stuff interspersed in there like that. So the next piece is going to be, here's some more details. Like I said, a little bit of a bullet point. And then right under that, boom, call to action. There's a button, there's a whatever. Then, and that gets those kind of middle people that, I'm okay with taking a flyer every now and again, but I need to make sure that I feel good about this. And then the bottom part is where you get into all the details. You give them all, you really connect emotionally with them. You're talking about what this will do when grandma sees it, or any of those kinds of thoughts. And you get details. Maybe you're sharing stuff. Maybe you give them a link to go get a little bit more information if they even want to get more and see a video or whatever. That this is where you're going into depth. And in that depth part, that's for the people that are very skeptical. All right. So then you'll be able to close those people. But those people that get down there, they don't want to scroll back up to get to that call to action again. So put it down at the end and say, okay, the end. Oh, by the way, buy now, 25% off. So there's the calls to action. So again, let's go over those one more time. Stay out of the spam box by being consistent and sending emails only to people that want to get your emails, and embracing the unsubscribe, giving them the opportunity to unsubscribe. 2, clear calls to action that you've determined beforehand. And 3 was, I've gotten all over the place. 3 was that message empathy towards what your readers want to read. All right, guys. Anything else before I go? I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I hopefully answered your question. I definitely see very soon right into phase 2 this email, and I'm sure we'll touch on this more in the marketing section of the 5th video of the 5 keys series there. So let me get that banner going across the bottom for you guys. oursuccessgroup.com. If you haven't already signed up for the 5 keys, please do that. We got through determining your overhead and pricing products for profit, and those are still available. In fact, the full training plus the hour plus of Q&A are all part of that recording there. So you're still getting pretty much everything except for that live experience. Next Wednesday, Todd and I will be talking about the workflow, how to kind of make that process of, now you've got the jobs, now how do we get them out the door most efficiently? Then we'll follow that up in the next week with the delivery and follow-up, what you do once that job is done to be able to not only make customers, but make advocates, to make kind of return customers. Return customers are so much cheaper to get than new customers. So if you focus some effort on return customers, saves you a ton of money in your marketing world. And we're going to talk about just some fun things you can do there, and start getting into marketing and getting into follow-up and getting into just delivering a amazing customer experience. And then the 5th one will be kind of marketing overview, just based on all the feedback we've gotten so far. It looks like that's going to be very Facebook ad heavy, but we will definitely touch on email and get a little bit more into that. So I really see that one going extremely long. So we make sure that we get everybody's questions answered. So and then if you're ready to check out phase 2, just again, oursuccessgroup.com/phase 2, and that will start the bi-monthly trainings, and that's going to be happening February 19th. So if you are in our success group already, please check your emails, because I did send an email blast this morning. I think about 8 o'clock is when I scheduled it to go out, and there's a special coupon code in there just for you guys that are already part of our success group for phase 2 for the annual membership there. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. And let me just double check to make sure I didn't miss any comments. All right, guys. High five. Talk to you guys next week. Well, talk to you several times between now and then, but back here on Small Business Saturdays next week. I will try to get back to early in the morning again, just to give it a go. But if you guys are totally against that, post over in or send me an email right up here, whatever. Just let me know what time's best for you, and we'll figure out where that fits. All right. Awesome, guys. Have a great day.